The National Basketball Association has been in existence since 1946 and has handed out 65 Most Valuable Player trophies to date. Every single player to receive one so far has been eventually inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame, which resides right here in Springfield, Massachusetts. Some were deserving of the award, some not so much. Some relied on storylines, some on team success, some on their pure statistical dominance over the rest of the league. It is perhaps the most nuanced award in all of professional sports. So we come here today to fix it. Using the stats available to us, we will rewrite the record books. This is rewarding every NBA MVP ever. We start in the 1955-1956 season in St. Louis, where the league's first MVP, Bob Pettit, played in the Kiel Auditorium for the St. Louis Hawks. The award at this time is decided by a vote of all the players in the NBA. Bob receives 41% of the vote this year. The 23-year-old Pettit averaged 25.7 points, 16.2 rebounds, 2.6 assists per game, and shot 42.9% from the field, which in this season was 4.2% over the league average, and he led his Hawks to a 33-39 record that year. Now, is this a season that is truly worthy of the first ever MVP award? Well, we're going to have to take a look at some of the competition to find out. We'll travel to Rochester, New York, where rookie Maurice Stokes and his Rochester Royals play at Edgerton Park Arena. Now, in just 1 year's time, this arena will be demolished, unfortunately, and the team will move to Cincinnati. But for now, in 1955, the 22-year-old Stokes is leading the Royals to a 31-41 record by averaging 16.8 points, 16.3 rebounds, and 4.9 assists while shooting 35.4%. Our final contender plays his games in the Boston Garden, right next to where its successor, the TD Garden, will one day be built. Now, Bob Cousy is a more established star than Pettit or Stokes, being 27 years old this season and playing in the larger market of Boston. He averaged 18.8 points, 6.8 rebounds, and 8.9 assists while shooting 36% on the way to a 33-39 record with the Celtics. Now let us return to the Hall of Fame, where one day all three of these men will be enshrined. It is here where we will compare their seasons. Now, Maurice Stokes had a fine season, but when directly comparing it to Pettit's, it becomes clear that he cannot win the MVP this season. They have such similar impacts on the game in their scoring and their rebounding, but Pettit simply scores more and does it more efficiently while shooting a better percentage from the field. The more intriguing threat to Pettit's throne is Cousy. The 8.9 assists per game that Cousy averaged leads the league easily. While it is very impressive, it is the only category in which Cousy edges out Pettit. So the differences in points, rebounds, and shooting percentage is simply too great for Cousy to take the award this year. So Bob Pettit remains as the first ever NBA MVP. Now, entering the 1956-1957 season, Pettit will fail to repeat as MVP. Cousy will receive just 2% more of the vote than Pettit and take home his first MVP instead. But is that the right decision? Cousy had another great season in Boston, averaging 20.6 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 7.5 assists per game and shot 37.8% from the field. The Celtics improved to 44-28 this season, but a big part of that was our first contender to lay claim to Cousy's MVP, the rookie, Bill Russell. Now, Russell was actually drafted by St. Louis earlier this year and was slated to become Pettit's teammate, but Red Auerbach traded for Russell, teaming him up with Cousy instead. Russell has put up some phenomenal numbers in his rookie season, including 14.7 points, 19.6 rebounds, and 1.8 assists to go along with 42.7% shooting. These two great players will lead the Celtics to a championship this year, but the reigning MVP isn't going to give up his trophy so easily. Pettit actually had a slight dip in production from his previous season in St. Louis, but he was still dominant, scoring 24.7 points on 41.5% shooting, hauling in 14.6 rebounds, and averaging 1.9 assists. The Hawks stayed consistent, finishing 34-38, just one win better than last year. Was this a performance worthy of winning the MVP for a second time? Let's compare back at the Hall of Fame. Pettit and Cousy had very similar numbers to what they had accomplished in the previous season. Both actually had slight dips in their production, so Pettit will still edge out Cousy in the MVP race this year. But should the award stay in Boston with Russell or return to St. Louis with Pettit? The Celtics had a better season as a whole, but they had two MVP candidates while Pettit carried the Hawks on his shoulders alone. The main discerning factor between Pettit and Russell is actually the Olympics. Despite being drafted, Russell elected to serve as the captain of the United States basketball team. So the first 24 games of the season, Russell was in Melbourne, Australia, winning gold in the Royal Exhibition Building. Quite the accomplishment. However, in this case, it is just enough missed games to tip the scale in Pettit's favor. So Russell will miss out on his first MVP, but gain a gold medal in the process, while Pettit adds a second MVP to his collection. Now Russell won't have to wait long, as he will be awarded his first MVP here in the 1957-1958 season, in just his second year in the league. He improves in nearly every facet of the game, upping his stats to 16.6 points on 44.2% shooting, while grabbing 22.7 rebounds and averaging 2.6 assists per game. The Celtics go 44-28 again, but will lose in the championship this year to Pettit and the Hawks. But does Pettit deserve the MVP over Russell as well as the championship? He put together another excellent season in St. Louis, averaging 24.6 points, 17.4 boards, and 3.2 assists, while shooting 41%. The Hawks improved to 41-31 in the regular season as well. It looks like another close race between Pettit and Russell, but a new challenger emerges from Syracuse this year. Dolph Schayes has had a breakout 29-year-old season for the Nationals. He averaged 24.9 points, 14.2 rebounds, and 3.4 assists on 39.8% shooting. Schayes has led the Nationals to a 38-34 record in the best year of his career, but is it enough for him to get the MVP that he never actually won? Pettit and Schayes had incredibly similar and dominant seasons, but no one can stop Russell this year. He scores a little less than his other MVP candidates, but he shoots a better percentage and leads the league in rebounding by a large margin. Russell misses out on his second championship this year, but wins his first MVP. Perhaps he can lead the Celtics to more success in the future. The proverbial tug of war for the MVP between Pettit and Russell continues into the 1958-1959 season. Pettit takes home the award again in his 26-year-old season, as he sees a large uptick in both points and shooting percentage this year, bringing him up to 29.2 points per game on 43.8% shooting, while his rebounding and assists stays steady at 16.4 and 3.1 per game respectively, as he leads the Hawks to a 49-23 record. Russell isn't going to give up his award easily though, as he also sees slight increases in his stats across the board. He averages 16.7 points, 23 rebounds, and 3.2 assists per game while shooting 45.7%. The Celtics stay great and finish 52-20 on the way to Russell's second championship with the team. Our third challenger is a rookie from Minneapolis playing for the Lakers. Young Elgin Baylor has led the Lakers to a 33-39 record, a 12-win improvement from last season. He averaged 24.9 points, 15 rebounds, and 4.1 assists with 40.8% shooting. An excellent rookie season from Baylor by all metrics. But this is a two-man race for MVP, as he can't quite yet live up to the standard that is set by Pettit and Russell. Both men drove each other to become better this season. Pettit's dramatic scoring improvement is the difference in the MVP race this year. He averaged 12.5 more points per game than Russell did, which at this time is more valuable than the 5.6 additional rebounds that Russell provides over Pettit. Thus, Pettit claims his third MVP in just 4 years. Now, the 1959-1960 season could be Elgin Baylor's time to rise up and truly challenge Pettit and Russell for the MVP. However, it's actually another rookie who steps into the spotlight. The Philadelphia Warriors used their territorial draft pick on 23-year-old Wilt Chamberlain, and he found instant success. He led the Warriors to a 49-26 record, improving on their win total by 17 from the previous year. He did so by scoring 37.6 points per game on 46.1% shooting. This led the league by 6.4 points. He also led the league in rebounding, pulling down 27 per game. He only tallied 2.3 assists per game, but if I were Wilt Chamberlain, I wouldn't have passed either. This makes Chamberlain the first to win the MVP in his rookie season, but is it truly Wilt's league now, or should one of the veterans have claimed another MVP? Pettit just keeps getting better in St. Louis. The Hawks went 46-29 this season, with Pettit leading them with 26.1 points, 17 rebounds, and 3.6 assists per game on 43.8% shooting. Not to be outdone, Bill Russell has his second straight season in which he improves in every single measurable category. He increases his output to 18.2 points on 46.7% shooting and tallies 24 rebounds and 3.7 assists per game. He will win his third championship this season after leading Boston to 59 wins. The superstars in the NBA just keep getting better. Despite both former MVPs improving on those MVP seasons, they simply cannot compete with the season Chamberlain put together. Wilt lays claim to his first MVP and has officially put the rest of the league on notice. Now, as the 1950s come to a close, let's take a quick look back at the first decade of MVPs. In reality, Bob Cousy, Bill Russell, and Wilt Chamberlain all won one MVP, while Bob Pettit took home 2. But after we have re-awarded them, Pettit claims the MVP that Cousy had won, while Russell and Chamberlain keep theirs. The players of the NBA, who are the sole voters on the award at this time, have done fairly well so far, as we've only needed to change the winner of one MVP. Next time, we'll move into the 1960s, where young Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell will continue to battle for the title of Most Valuable Player.